welcome back to the Knox Hollow Wood Shop, and we are doing wands again, as usual. And this time we're doing another new wood. This is canary wood. I have never worked with canary wood before, and all in all, I gotta say it's not a bad wood to work with. I'm not a huge fan of the color just on a personal level. I'm not a big fan of the yellow, but it does have some nice grain, and if you like the color of the wood, then you'll notice it does have some really nice, color transitions, some variations in the grain and stuff like that. So, for the yellow lovers out there, you'll probably enjoy this. So, this I did, because this is my first time working with the wood. I'm making 3 wands for stock, for the next show, and then also to go on Etsy. I always try to do, 3 wands, to keep 3 wands of, each wood type in stock. So for this video, we're gonna do 3 wands. We're kinda rushing through them. The first part of the video, again, is just me getting the wands generally the right size, so that I can zoom in here on the handles. That's where most of the fancy work gets done. So that's we're kind of skipping, mostly speeding up and cutting out a lot of that beginning, those beginning steps, which is basically getting the blade of the wand down to the right size, getting them chucked up. And I've kind of showed that really quickly on the first wand, and then the other two we're just going to pick right up here, with the handle. So, but for this first one, just kind of playing around, getting the shape going again on this, and kind of deciding, what I want to do with it. And a lot of this is just kind of getting a feel for, how the wood's going to cut, and how it reacts with the different tools and that kind of thing. And this, even though it does have a lot of different grain to it as far as color variation and stuff, it's actually all fairly even in the hardness. There's woods like oak that it's got grain in it, but some of the grains are harder than others, and that can cause some chatter. This one, is fairly uniform in hardness, and it's actually a little bit softer, I would say, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of cherry. I don't, it's definitely not as hard as maple, but it cuts really nicely, and I was surprised because it does sand and polish, all the way up to a higher grit, like a lot of the hardwoods do. So, and this, I'm just on this little scrap at the end that I'm going to cut off. I just did a friction test and decided, very quickly that the friction burn on this type of wood is going to be a little bit of a problem. It's going to kind of gum up a little bit like, maple does. So instead of using a friction burn, I decided that I was going to try the ebonizing fluid, and the ebonizer didn't really have a profound effect on the coloring. It did darken it a little bit, but it does. As you can see from the wire, it burns very well. It just doesn't friction burn well because the friction causes, the wood to kind of the charring to gum up. But you could see that little quick flash there where I had that little test piece. That's where I used the ebonizer on it, and you can see it did darken it some, but not much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and darken it a little bit with the ebonizing fluid, and then here later on, I'll do some burnishing, and the heat does start to darken it a little bit just from the friction. So I decided what I would do is very lightly use a torch, and just, you know, um, using the heat from the torch to not quite burn it. And that's really tough to do, especially if you have sharp corners, a rounded shape is a little bit easier to keep the burn even. Um, but yeah, it turned out pretty well. This is just, a quick the sanding finish, and then this is what it looks like with the oil. And then, of course, as always, at the end of the video, we'll have, pictures of the final, and we'll move into the next wand. On a nice spring day like this, it's important to stop and take a break every now and then
and just kind of enjoy the day. So you never know when you're going to get lucky.
All right, so this is wand number 2, and again, we've already, skipped all the, preliminary stuff, and we're moving right into the handle. We've got the lines marked out, and gonna start doing the shaping on this, and I decided to keep this one fairly natural on the colors, so it's not gonna have any burning or ebonizing or anything, on it, other than the wire friction burns, but we'll see that there. Also, by the way, if you're enjoying these videos, it really helps out if you just give me a quick thumbs up down there at the bottom, and kind of helps me, reach my goals on the channel here. And also, if you would like to see more of the videos, don't forget to subscribe. You can ring that bell, and remember, if you subscribe, you'll get notified when I post new videos. And we'll do lots more wand videos coming up. We're going to do some interesting resin work in the future, and we've got some other special editions coming up for the next show. And we're always doing just all kinds of stuff. So you never know if we're going to do 3D printing or leather working, or just focusing on the wands. Or I've got some ideas for some wand stands and stuff too. So make sure you subscribe so that you can kind of stay up to date on what I've got going in the workshop. Always got my brain going. So we parted this wand. We got that off of the tenon off the end there, and as always, we have edited out loads of sanding. But this one went fairly quick on the video, because we didn't do any fancy coloring or anything. But these simple shapes really turned out pretty nice. And as you can see, when this wood gets oiled, it just has a really nice color, and you can really see that kind of yellow, and then these kind of golden brown grain streaks going through that. So it does, if you like the yellow, it is really kind of a pretty wood. I'm just personally not a huge fan of it, but I do like working with it. So I'm kind of hopeful that some of y'all like these, because if you buy them, then I get to make more. So that's always helpful. Uh, we'll have these at the shows, and then of course we'll have them up on Etsy as soon as we get some time, get past show season. So this is the third one on the video, and this is the one we're going to do as a special edition, where we do a little bit of extra work on it, beyond the just the normal shaping. And for this one, I'm going to do some wood burning, and we're going to get into that fairly quickly after we edit out all the sanding. There's so much sanding on these videos. I think I probably spend 2/3 of my time making these is just sanding the wands, and getting them polished up, and making them look nice. So we'll get this wire. We're gonna get that done, and then we're gonna use the indexing wheel, and so that I can basically make a grid on the grip here, and that's gonna help me kind of figure out how to keep my pattern aligned. And is you can always check out some of my other videos about the last ones I did with the indexing wheel and how I use that. So, and yeah, this time I'm using just kind of a different shape on the pyrography tool, and it's kind of an arrowhead sort of shape. And um, thought I would try that on this, and kind of do an alternating pattern going up the wand. And honestly, it kind of looks a little bit. When I was a kid, we used to have this interesting cactus growing in, like we had a little cactus bed outside. And Southwest Oklahoma, you can grow a cactus down there. Up here in Idaho, it's a little bit harder to have a cactus flower garden outside. But this looked like one of the varieties of cactus when it dies and dries up and kind of skeletonized. It looks a little bit like that in the pattern. So yeah, it's an interesting design, and I did kind of put some kind of dots and stuff up on that upper the guard area there, the transition between the handle and the blade. And I like doing that kind of organic dot pattern as well. So I just think that overall, it did work nicely with this design. So once we got that in, we kind of brushed that up and then did our final sanding. And then I'm just going to use some denatured alcohol to kind of rub out as the sanding kind of gets down in the wood burned areas, the sanding dust. So we're going to wipe that up and kind of get an idea what we're looking like. And yeah, so pretty happy with this design, and that came out pretty well. So it's time to put the taper on the blade and kind of get that part finished out. And then once that's done, we're going to get our oil on it. So we're gonna cut to the oil here, and you can kind of see. And then, of course, once that oil dries, it's actually warming up here now. So it's only taking a couple days to dry. We got that wax on there, and those get all polished up. And as you can see, it's it's a nice, rich kind of a yellow color with golden brown grain running through it, and it does burn fairly well as far as taking the torch and the heat and the wood burner. So yeah, these were some really nice wands. I hope you enjoyed it, and we've got another couple coming up pretty soon. I've already got partial video of those shot. So make sure you check out the upcoming videos, and we will catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.